Welcome to another online tutorial from New Life Baptist Academy. This is the voice of Christopher Nader. Today we're going to learn about how to use the power of Excel to number the rows. Very handy technique to know, especially as your data gets very big and your spreadsheets get very long. So the first thing we want to do is to give ourselves room to stick in some row numbers. To do that, let's move our cursor to the box, the cell called Student Name, left click and drag down through Martha, let up, right click and insert. Excel asks us, do we want to shift the selected cells to the right? We say yes, we hit OK. Watch what happens. It moves everything to the right of our selected cells, to the right one row. I will tell you that in my experience, the best way to put in row numbers is always to center them. So let's go up to the menu bar and go to Home, and then go to the Alignment box, sub-box, and hit Center. And now when we begin typing, all of our numbers are going to be centered. So the first way to do it, the hardest way, is to just click in the first cell, type a 1, click the next cell, type a 2, click the next cell, type a 3, etc. The problem with that is, as your document has a lot of rows, it's a very cumbersome and time-consuming and boring way to do it. Why do it that way if there's at least two better ways? Let me give you one of them, and then I'll give you the even best way. So let's back up Zibus by doing Control-Z to back up our keystrokes. And let's back up to here. And the first way to number the columns using the power of Excel is to put a 2 in this cell and then say to Excel, I would like you to project or duplicate the relationship between number 1 and number 2 to all the cells beneath it. To do that, you click on 1, drag down to 2, and move your cursor to the lower right hand corner of those two boxes until it turns into a plus sign, because you're going to plus or duplicate this relationship all the way down. Then you left click, drag down, and you can see in the little box right above the M of Martha that Excel is previewing this. It's saying to you, I'm about to project or duplicate this mathematical relationship between 1 and 2 to these 6 cells. That's what we want. We let up on our left mouse button and watch what happens. Excel fills in the relationship of 1 to 2 down to those 6 cells. That's a pretty good way to do it. That's one way to do it. Some people find that to be easy, and it is. But there's a better way. Let me back up Zibus again by doing Control-Z. And now I'm back to where I'm going to show you the all-time best way to do it. That is for you to tell Excel what the relationship is between these cells. So to do that, you click in the first cell that you want to identify or formulate and hit the equals button, which says to Excel, I'm going to tell you now how to calculate what I want this cell to equal. And I want this cell to equal the cell above it, so I put my cursor above it and click. And I want it to always be the cell above the cell I'm in plus 1. So I hit the plus sign, which is Shift plus, which is above the equal sign on the keyboard in the upper right hand corner, usually just to the left of the backspace key. And then I add 1 unit, 1. Then I hit enter, and sure enough, it says it took the cell above it, added 1 to it, and got 2. Just to double check, we've got a formula going on. If you click in that Excel cell and look up in the formula box, sure enough, you'll see that it says I am putting the value of that cell to be the cell above it plus 1. So far, so good. So now I go to that cell, left click and drag down and say to Excel, please copy what's in there all the way down. To do that, I do the Control-D command, which is left with my left finger. I hold down the Control button. With my right finger, I hit the D for down button on the keyboard, and sure enough, it fills them all in. Let me show you the power of this. Let's say now that we want to alphabetize our spreadsheet by the name of the student. To do that, of course, we know this already. We click on the 6, drag down to Martha, let up on it, and now go to our Home tab and our Data tab and our Sort tab and sort it by column B, which is the column that student name appears in. It's only going to sort the names of the students, nothing above it, because I've only selected those rows. I hit OK, and sure enough, it reorders them alphabetically. Joshua, Martha, Mary, Peter, Rebecca, Saul is the correct alphabetical order. But look what it did to my row numbers. It scrambled them. So to unscramble them, and this is the value of having told Excel how to calculate each cell, I simply once again go to my correct formula beneath it, left click, drag down, and then Control D for copy this down, and once again my rows are correctly numbered and my student names are in alphabetical order. That's how you number rows. Thanks for watching.